Hey everyone, and congrats on making it to day 20. We only have 10 more days to go after this. If you've learned anything, that's a success. So if you stay consistent, also a success. Let's make our way. The last few days have been quite intense, a lot of pushing, a lot of strength drills. Today's a take it easy kind of mobility type class. We're gonna finish with a strong push at the end, but until then, we're just kind of looking to open ourselves up. Let's make our way to our mats. If you have anything you need to take off or anything else beforehand, this is the time to do it. We're going to start and go from head to toe. So we're going to start with our necks. We're just going to bring our chins down. From here, look over, or just glide your chin over to your shoulder. From there, bring your ear to your shoulder, keeping your shoulders nice and loose kind of thing. You're not bringing them up. And then from there, rotating backwards, ear to shoulder, doing the opposites of bringing your chin down. And then beard, if you have one, not that most of you do, but if you were to have a beard or a chin, you're just kind of swiping it all the way across to the other side. Ear down, backwards. We're doing this 3 times. Chin down, swipe across. Ear down, backwards. Ear down, chin down. We're going to stop at halfway. Just bring our head all the way down. And then we're going in the opposite direction. So chin all the way up, ear down, rotate backwards. Ear first, chin down, rotate. So that's 1. We're making our way back. Ear down, rotate backwards to our ear. Chin to shoulder. Rotate down. This is the 2nd one. So chin should be a shoulder, ear to shoulder, rotate back. Chin to shoulder, rotate through. And we're just going to stop at the middle. From here, we're going to look up, down. And then we're going to stop at neutral. Just look right, left. Stop at neutral, try to bring our ear to our shoulder. There's a lot of tension in my neck on this side, so I'm not gonna get that far or that much depth. Do the same thing on the opposite side. So if you feel like me right now, this means I need more work on these things. Either I get a massage and stay more consistent with neck mobility, or just become more consistent altogether. Next, we're gonna pretend we're grabbing our shirt, bring our shoulders above our ears, and then bring our arms as far back and rotate. So we did right elbow, or right hand to elbow, we'll switch to the opposite side and do 3 times both sides. So think of which hand is touching which elbow and just keep alternating between. So this time I'm going to touch my left elbow. It's just about a very big retraction. We're really trying to do a back bend, really bring your elbows back. So this is 2 and 2. And then we're going to go 3. And 3. So now we're going to hug ourselves. Start off with always assessing which arms first. So right arm on the shoulder, opposite side. So if you can bring your elbows as close to possible together. We're going to bring our shoulders down, or elbows down, sorry. And then see if we can bring our shoulder down. You may feel that a lot on your opposing lat. So if you're going towards the left, your right side. If you feel it a lot, that's okay. Just take your time there. We're bringing our way back into a back bend. Going to the opposite side. I like kind of wherever I feel restriction or a lot of sensation, I kind of stop there. Make your way, stop. I like to reset. Go back down. Rotate again, so shoulder towards your left pocket. Trying to keep your hips both neutral. This is all through the spine. Coming back, rotate. Doing the opposite side, so shoulder towards your right pocket. Coming down, reset. We're going to go one more time in that direction. So elbows towards your belly button. Shoulder towards your left pocket. All the way up, so just a small back bend, rotate, shoulder towards your right pocket, and then back down. We're just going to let go. Switch sides with the grip. Come down. We're going right shoulder to the right pocket. Coming back. So that's one circle. Reset. These are very intentional and slow. We're just trying to feel where we are tight, where there's work that needs to be done, and putting in that work by slowly going through the joints. Reset. One last one. Back bend. Rotate. And down. So we're just going to release that. We're going to do a bit of wrist mobility, Pointing fingers to opposite walls, back and forth. This is something we do a lot of, unlike the rest. Big breaths in and out. Fingers forward. We're going to do the same thing. So over and breath out as we come back. Breath in, as we come back. Exhale forward. Two more. That's one. This is two. We're going to bring our fingers towards our body. We're going to come back and forth there as well, getting into the fingers. So making sure our palms lift off the ground and then back. So that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And from here, we're going to get into a neutral spine. We're going to bring our fingers around our ear, touch our elbow to our mid forearm or wherever you can make it down to, and then rotate as high up as possible. So we're going for 5 each side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do the opposite side. So fingers around the right ear, elbow touch up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here, we're going to bring ourselves into a squat. So we're going to go from spine now to hips. We're just going to take a few breaths here. We're not rushing through anything at this point. Just allowing everything to sink in. So once again, this is a lot less intense than our other typical classes, but this is not less important. This is super important to have recovery, range of motion, meaning your body isn't fighting you into getting into your poses. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a flow that is practically all mobility. So I'll stay in this angle so you see it. We're going to go up into a forward fold, back down. We're doing that for 3. If you want your hands underneath your feet, you can go for that. 2, 1, go into a halfway lift. So that means your hands are going to be halfway on your shins, nice long spine. Just to bring strength into our mobility, we're going to bring our arms forward and we're going to use our hamstrings and use the muscles through our hips to bring our lower stomach as much as we can on our upper thighs, keeping our back very long. We're bringing those fists back as if we're pulling something and bringing our spine through while doing that, keeping our neck neutral. We're going to pull for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, bend in the legs, kind of ragdoll for a second. We're doing this 3 times. Halfway lift. Arms in front of you. Pull them as you're going to hinge, hinge, hinge. Now we're really going to go for that pull, feeling as much of our stomach on our upper thighs as possible for 3, 2, 1. Bending the knees. Nice little ragdoll. Kind of just loosening up through her legs. Not as much engagement. Just enjoying the benefits of that exercise. Back to halfway lift. Last time. Hands in front of our shoulder, our chest. We're going to pull, 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 pull as we hinge. And then as if we're pulling something. Every time getting a little bit deeper. More thigh on our upper or on our lower stomach. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to bring our right hand down. Bring that right leg back. Knee down. And then if you can do this, awesome. If you can't, you may need a strap or something. We're just going to grab that leg. So if it feels extremely far away, maybe you just turn to the wall instead of doing the variation that I'm doing. Maybe you just kind of stay here. But I am going for with the hand. So if you have access to the hand, go for that. If not, you're kind of doing the couch stretch against the wall, and you're going to push against the wall the same way as we are. So we're going to push into our hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Enjoy that stretch. Go into halfway lift. Nice long spine. If we can, we want to make this active. If you need a block to be here, that's okay. We're just going to see if we can bring both hands. We're digging that heel into the ground. Maybe a little bit more of a bend than usual. And pushing, trying to make our spine longer and forward for 3, 2, 1. Block to the side if you were able to do that. If you were able to with the block, that's still fine. We're going to do a second one of this exercise. So if you're on the couch or onto the wall, take your time to get there. We're going to start in a bit. Okay, we're going to push into that hand for 5. Push, 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 push. 3, 2, 1. Now enjoy that lunge. Enjoy that stretch in your psoas. And then from here, once again, we're just going to do this one last time. So if you need the block, you're really digging into the ground. We're going there and pushing into the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are done. Let's make our way back up the mat, back into a squat. From here, if you want your hands underneath your feet again, that's awesome. If your squat is inaccessible, just try widening your stance, maybe putting something underneath your heels, whatever's required, but make it so that you're practicing with me. So if you're higher up, that's okay, and then you're folding from here. Whatever's required as a modification. But if you're able to be exactly where I'm at, let's go for it. So I'll just come back so there's a bit of a better view. So we're gonna just do the squat to forward fold for 3, 2, 1. From here back to halfway lift. So feet parallel, nice long spine parallel with the ground. So feet parallel from each other about hip width, and then spine with the ground. Hands in front of your shoulders, hinge, 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 hinge. By pulling, pull, 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 we're gonna go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend in the legs. Just nice and relaxed. I feel like I'm gaining so much range from this. We're gonna go into halfway lift. Hands in front of our shoulders. Hinge our way down. Hands in back of us. Past our calves, hopefully. Nice long spine. If you're all the way up here and this is where you're doing it from, that's awesome as well. You're gonna feel it through your hamstrings, through your calves as well. So we're gonna go and pull, 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 pull. Pull for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend in the legs. Nice little ragdoll. One more time. So halfway lift. Hands down. This is our last round. Let's hinge, 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 hinge. Keep going. Pull, pull, pull for 5. Keep being active, pulling yourself. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and done. Right leg forward, left one back. We're just gonna stay here for 1 second, kind of just make our way into that hip, especially if all that felt like a lot. From here, left arm stays. We're going for that foot. Against the wall is just as active, if not more. Couch stretch is a massive stretch. So doing that version is not you losing out. So we're gonna push into our hand or into the couch with the back leg slash foot, I should say. We're gonna push, 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 push. So I'm pushing that way with the foot while I'm pulling into my hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, enjoy the stretch into your psoas, into the whole hip flexor. Enjoy that opening that this allows. From here, halfway lift. So I'll do a version with the blocks this time just to show that. So I know it's angled out a bit, but it's still the same stretch. We're making our mid stomach slash, we're making our way mid on our thigh. We're gonna hinge to where we're comfortable. And from here, really digging into that heel. We're trying to take our hands off. Maybe it's just one finger on each block, but we're going and pushing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's make our way back into the stretch. So back to that lizard lunge type shape. Grab the foot. We're gonna push into our hand as hard as we can, or we'll say 70 to 80% for 5. Push, 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 push. 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the benefits of that once again. Really lengthening into that hip flexor. That's really where you're getting the magic there. We're gonna go into our halfway split, our last one. So once again, we're hinging. Really keeping this active. So you don't need to go as deep. It's more about the action of the heel digging into the ground. You even want a small bend in your leg here. Hands off if possible. We're going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. From here, we're just gonna sit on down and get into our legs a little bit and finish off with some chest. Go do our holds after. So we're gonna do one leg at a time. We're gonna start off with the right side, hands behind our back, keeping our spine nice and tall. And we're just gonna go down and then out. So both directions are just as important. We're really looking to see what is our range of motion. Our hands behind our back, I think, is actually better than the whole version where you see people floating, because then you're using your back as well. This is keeping it so that it's only within the hip. So see where your range is. If you can touch that knee down, awesome. If you can't and you're only halfway there, that's okay. This also helps you see which leg is more mobile within the hip. 2 more. The number isn't as important as the depth and the attention you give it. So when you're in somewhere that is that has restriction, kind of just allowing it to be there and then making your way back. And then I might open up faster than you and so on and so forth. So just taking our time, doing about 8 to 12-ish reps. We're gonna do the opposite side, so left. This side is typically my worst side. It is popping and cracking right now. See, I can't touch my knee down on this side. So it just kind of cues me to take my time through the rotation. Is it ever popping? I don't think you guys can hear that, but wow. Got some popcorn in there. That's not a bad thing either. That's just making space within my hip. We're just gonna go for 2 more.
Awesome. Okay, so from here, we're gonna do one last stretch for our upper body, because we use that so much more than our legs essentially right now. This is a handstand program after all. We're gonna do cactus twists. That's kind of what I call them. We're going on our stomach. We're gonna have, I'm gonna show you on the left side just because you can see better over here. The arm will be even or a bit higher than our shoulder. The opposite side will be pushing into the ground. Your left ear will come down. Your right leg is going around you, and you're pushing with your arm. These fingers, opening your chest. So you're trying to keep your chest down to the ground, the ear down, and then this side you're trying to peel it towards, so making your back come towards that elbow. We're just going to take about 3 to 5 breaths here. If you want to push down with the cactus arm into the ground, that also helps a bit. It just keeps things engaged. One more breath. Awesome. We'll do the opposite side. So get your arm into a cactus, right arm this time, unless you've done the opposite side first. We're going to bring our right ear down, left arm towards our chest. I'm just going to take off my nifty little mic. I'm about to squish it. So from here, right arm down, left arm about where the shoulder or chest is. We're going to twist over. And then, like I said, we're trying to keep that ear down and push this shoulder back while having that cactus arm there. This is quite the sensation. Take your time through it. There is no rush. One more breath. Awesome. So let's get into our holds. We kind of did a little bit everywhere for the mobility. Now we're just going to get into our minute to win it. That's going to be our minimum from now on, inverted. Typically it's going to be on our hands as a minimum, but today we're going to make it a bit different, where we're going to do a block, hold, and headstand, both sides, hip, hip, 10 seconds. We're going to do pincha off the wall for 10 seconds, both switching legs, and then nose to toes on the wall. So it sounds like a massive sequence. It's really not bad because it's just 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. But we are hitting a minute to win it. Through and between that, we're going to do a few other mobility drills just to kind of stay with the theme at hand. But for now, let's go for it. So the left side is always my side of choice to start with. So I'm going to start with my tuck on the left. My right leg is going to go straight. The same way we always do it, holding the opposite elbow, hands interlaced, bring that pinky in, head down. We know where that goes. Big breath, release. Let's get up. So tuck first, and then float that other leg if you need the block to float up. So something to step on or a wall, that's okay. And once you're here with me, extend as far as you feel comfortable through that top leg. We're staying here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and slow. We're moving through our hip, bringing that compression to touch down nice and slow. So getting in and out of headstand, I don't know if I've put enough emphasis on this yet, but a lot of it is coming from stacking. And once we're there, really learning to control our pelvis. We're bringing it back to lift our legs. And then once we're at the top, we're bringing it into a tuck to hold that hollow body. It's the same thing with handstands and everything else. You're kind of bringing your anterior tilt and then interior tilt. So let's do the opposite side. Once we're done this side, we're going to do a little bit of mobility. So 10 seconds again, blocking the right hip this time. Same thing, touch, touch, pinky in, same spot on the ground. Big breath in to set. Next breath is to go.
So this time, left foot is up. Nice strong tuck. We're holding this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Really tucking, tucking, tucking.
Awesome. So what we're going to do as a mobility drill here is we're going to go back into a neutral spine tabletop hold. And then from here, I like kind of having my thumb as the thing that points the direction. We're going to do a shoulder car. So we're just going up until we can't anymore, and then we're rotating that thumb until our pinky makes its way down. And then we're going back up. We're going to do times 3 each side. We're trying to keep everything aligned with our shoulder as much as possible. So big breath. All the way up. Rotate once you can't move anymore. Come on down. And reverse it. Nice and slow. You're really just working on trying to keep that line even with your shoulder. One more on this side. High as you can. Wowza. You may feel like that's harder than it should be. And for me, that's because I don't do these enough. I definitely need to start adding more shoulder mobility. Let's do the opposite side. So thumb forward. You don't need the thumb in. It can be closed fist. Sometimes it's actually good to hold the ball just to have something to engage your forearm into. But let's just go up. Until you can't anymore, rotate that thumb. And coming down. So that's a 1 and backwards to return is 1. Try to keep everything as aligned as possible. 2 and 2. Last one. 3 and 3. Awesome. We're now going to go for our pinches or forearm stand, or whichever we want to think of it. We're essentially balancing on our forearms, lifting our head off the ground. To me, this one will always be the hardest because you can't cheat as much. If you're very tight, there's not as much room to play to fix that. If you struggle with protraction, so the pushing strength, you're struggling to get your head off the ground, it's very much a place to make a lot of growth, but it's also just kind of truly the truth, because it'll tell you where your mistakes are, essentially. It doesn't mess with you, kind of thing. It doesn't allow for a lot of correction. Today we're going to use the extra tool, though. You can modify pincher in a few ways. I didn't talk about this last time. So you can add a belt from your around your triceps. This will stop the flaring out you're going to want to do. So we're really trying to keep our elbows and forearms parallel to each other. That being said, if you're not letting that happen, oftentimes if the block's not there, you're trying to slowly bring your fingers towards each other. That's for a hollow back version. You don't want to do that in just a natural pinch up. So you're going to try and keep your hands apart. We're going to squeeze into a block today to do that. So we're going to start left leg into a tuck. The right leg is going to the sky. If you can't float that left leg off, do the best you can. But what we're thinking, as we do with handstand, is our belly button going away from the wall, not our leg that's on it. We're not really thinking of popping that off. We're just thinking belly button floating away. Just think that your mid-spine, and so belly button, shoulders, and elbows stacking and slowly making their distance. That's where the float happens, not your legs. Your legs are just an accessory where you can move around and make pretty shapes with. They really aren't what's going to cause you to float. Your belly button leaving the wall by kind of pushing through your elbows and making that space, that's where it's going to happen. So just keep that in mind. We're going to make our way up. So big breath in for to set, and the next breath is to go. So right leg up, the left leg is going to do a tuck for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the opposite side after 1 or 2 breaths. So I hope those little details helped. The squeezing into the block, the thinking of belly button going away from the wall. Think of that while you're handstanding as well. It's going to make a massive difference. And holding that hollow body shape as best as possible. I'm really feeling this in my lats because they're tight. So the more protraction I'm getting, the more it's like, oh, this is the spot that you need to work on. It will be a necessity until for sure pinch up. But let's go do the opposite side. So big breath in to start. Next one is a go. So left leg is going to be nice and straight this time. We're thinking belly button away for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. From here, we're going to go back into that tabletop shape. We're going to bring our arm as high as we can into or towards our opposite shoulder. So hand is going towards, my left hand is going towards my right shoulder on my back. And from here, we're going to do cat-cow. So breath in. This is where you feel the sensation. And an exhale. We're just doing 3. Really pushing down though. Really bringing that mid-spine as low as we can. Exhale. One last one. We're doing the same thing on the opposite side. So go as high as you can. Now breath in. As low as we can with that stomach. Really feeling that. Exhale. That's 1. Stomach down. Exhale. 2. Big breath in, stomach down. 3. Okay, guys. So this is our last 2 exercises. We are making our way. I don't know why my mic is away from me, but we are making our way into our last 2 holds here. So nose to toes to the wall. And if you can't, try to go like a forearm's length away and thinking belly button pull. If you can get a bit of float, awesome. But you're really trying to make your way nose to toes. It will be the exercise that really shows you the shape that you want to be into. It forces you to protract and kind of be in a nice long spine of line. So toes over wrist, really. Okay, let's make our way into it. So first breath is to set. Second breath is go. So we're going for 10. My nose is on the wall and toes are up. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the big thing with nose to toes is not actually the difficulty about it. It's actually a bravery thing. Trying to make your way to the wall is much scarier than being at a distance and putting a foot on there. So every attempt you're doing at this, I do applaud it. It's not easy, especially at the beginning. We have one more go and then we're done. Just because of how nervous you could be in this pose, you might skyrocket your heart rate. You're pushing more, you are inverting, which will just kind of dump your blood in the opposite direction, so it's something to get used to. But the more times you do it, the more you do get used to it. Let's go for it. Last round. So once again, big breath to set. Second breath, let's go.
So nose toes to the wall for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then from here, we are going to do one last round of shoulder rotation. So leg straight, wrist to the hip, bend that leg, elbow forward. We're going to close our eyes. Just take a few breaths here. Big breath in. Just 3 breaths, so we can do the opposite side. One last one. Awesome. Opposite side. So leg straight, elbow in, or wrist in, elbow forward. Make your way into this pose. Take your time, nice long spine, crown of the head up towards the ceiling, and try to bring your chest forward, nice and slow. For a big breath in. Exhale. 2 more. One last breath. Awesome. So that's the end of day 20. I kind of just want to applaud you for making it this far. If all of this still feels extremely hard, just know that handstanding is not something that's normally taught in a month. I'm still working on it. It's been years. I can efficiently press to handstand, curl, press, do tons of different shapes from there. But that didn't happen for me in a month. This month is breaking through all the barriers that are there, knowing what they are, and then kind of having a place to revisit and keep working on until you land it. So learning what your barriers are, whether it be mobility, whether it be the lack of protraction strength, and learning those drills. Maybe it's just kind of fear and kind of getting past that. Consistency would help with all of those. So keep coming back to this. Finish this whole round of 30 days. If you need to modify it, just like nose to wall and kind of have that distance, that's okay. Do that until you don't have to anymore. Find your worth by putting in the work. So when you start feeling like, wow, I made my way here. This was an amazing thing. I'm really good now. You built worth by work. It's not just something that comes overnight. You can develop tons of hacks to make it easier for balance, but that's not the true way of feeling comfortable in something. And if you want to be good at something, not just kind of have a sloppy party trick and kind of just enjoy this as a new place to find balance. Handstanding is a good place for me to just kind of silence voices and kind of just have fun and forget things, be playful. It takes more time than just an overnight practice of some sort. So thanks again. Cheers, namaste, and hoping to see you for the next 10 days where we're going to work on stability and having fun through it all.